Yola was just magnificent, really an extraordinary person, and I'm just getting to know her. It's really an honor to talk about my sister and get to know her in a way that I didn't know her before. You see, for me, she was just my big sister, and she was just a pain in the, you know. But really, I've gotten to know that she really was an extraordinary woman. Part of the book, as I'm doing my research, I'm finding out is that it wasn't just about flying and who she was. She was really an adventurer from a child. Growing up in the family, we're 4 children, my older brother, Yola was the second, and then 2 other. I'm the youngest of our siblings. But she was also one of the first ones, you know, remember when we had S90 bikes? She was all around the place on her bike, roaming the town of Kingston on her bike, going up to Up Park Camp in her skirt, and just riding around Kingston, Jamaica. And so everybody knew her. Her biggest thing was to give back to the community. She was instrumental in her days as Alpha. She's an Alpha alumna. So she went to the Convent of Mercy Alpha and under Sister Bernadette. And she was in the singing. She was with the J-Teens. When she came here to the United States in 1985, she was very much involved in many things. For instance, here in the United States, she went on to work with Universal Studios Hollywood. And she rose from a part-time cashier to being the director of operations at Universal Studios theme parks. So all those gift shops that are there, she was in charge of them with about 200 or 300 people under her. And Yola was a force to be reckoned with. And as I'm doing my research, it wasn't just Yola, it was really her training as a Jamaican, the family, the upbringing from her Catholic upbringing, her belief in God, her belief in really having people succeed, that made her who she was. We lost her in 2000 to breast cancer. And that was what started my quest to find out who she was, because at her funeral, we had over 200 people there, and Universal Studios actually shuttled people down to the funeral home and made sure that they were there to contribute to her. We had people flying from, we got messages and condolences all the way from Japan. When I was at the award ceremony in December, one of the other things I heard was that they were touched and honored to have remembered her because they always remembered her smile. She was always an adventurer. As my brother said, she could do anything that a man could do, a boy could do. Give a boy something to do, Yola would do it. One of my biggest memories of her as a teenager, see, we grew up in the auto parts industry. My dad had the Cain's Motor Post down there on King Street near Mazuka. And here's it, we're driving down Red Hills Road, coming from her friend, and what happened? The clutch went out on the car. No clutch, and we're coming down the hill. And Yola drove the car back up to Stillwell Road, up to Constant Spring. No problem. All she did was just listen to the gears and change the gears. That's the kind of person she was. The book that I'm writing, it's really about the days of telling the story of this woman, of our culture, of who we are as a people, because I think, you know, and here is it, we're in the 50th year celebrating Jamaica. We have the Olympics going on. You have Usain Bolt, who is really a force to be reckoned with. And as Jamaicans, we are a force to be reckoned with. That's why I'm so excited to be talking about it in this, our 50th year. When I look back at it, she was in her 20s when she was making decisions. She was 21. How many 21-year-olds are out there flying a plane, making decisions in the, you know, that will affect your country? And I remember my grandmother saying, because she actually died before my grandmother died. She died in 2000 on May 17th with all her family here. My mom, my dad, my grandmother, my sister and myself were at her bedside when she died. And she had 2 small children. They were 6 and 7 at the time when she died, 2 girls. And my grandmother said to me, she says, you know, Yola wanted to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Her passion for Jamaica was just unparalleled. I mean, she was the one who taught me how to cook. She was the one who's, you know, it was ackee and saltfish to set up traditions in the family to make sure that we always remembered our culture, where we come from. And I remember her, this small, and she was small. She was only 5'4". She was only 5'4". And I remember going in Jamaica, driving that little Honda car, and she had the machete beside her right there. Nobody could mess with her. You know, somebody would happen. There was no, you know, things break down when you're having Jamaica. Those were the times when we didn't have, parts weren't coming into the island. So how do you get a, you know, spare windshield, you know, blade coming in? Those weren't coming in. And what it is, she lean out the car and she wipe the windshield and she drive again, you know? So there's so many memories that I have of my sister. As a country, we are blessed to have had her, to have set the tone, to have set the legacy for future women and girls, to have a vision and a dream, like Maria had. When she saw that Yola did it, she says like, wow, I can do this too. And she went after her dreams. I intend to complete the book by the end of this year and have it published, and really from there, eventually make it into a movie, because the story is so intriguing that I really do think that it's something that the world will captivate the world in the story of this one woman who made a difference.